so hard about parenting and relationships. It's the head games, the mind games. It's like when you feel like your kid is manipulating you, like they're just trying to get in your head, or they say something to you and it just like really wrecks you. You know, as I was getting ready for this opening talk, I started realizing that today's talk, and I'm going to share with you 5 tools, 5 great mindset tools, 5 things to say to yourself to thrive in the head games of parenting. As I was getting ready to share this with you guys, I realized that this could be actually one of the most important things I've ever taught on. I really say that, and I'm dead serious. For some of you watching this video, either live or on a replay, I realize this could change your life. This could be the one video that you've been kind of waiting for, but like, that's what I needed to hear. That, I get it now. I get it. I'm so passionate about what I'm about to say because these head games are so tough and nobody ever talks about all these mind games of freaking parenting. People like me, I don't teach about this stuff enough. Like what we teach about is like, okay, how to have self-care when the kids are up in your head. How to have self-care and taking care of yourself so they don't get in your head. How to manage your emotions when your kids are up in your head, you're all crazy and you're all emotional. And then what do you do and how do you show up with integrity and love and responsibility in that? But these mind games are super serious. And I know they're serious because every day I meet with parents just like you in private sessions or in my group classes. And they tell me I don't know what to do. My kid is a master manipulator. And I hear that a lot. And here's what I normally say to people to that. And this is an example of the mind games. I said, look, there's no child who's a master manipulator. Like you don't have these like serial killers in your house. These aren't master manipulators. If you feel like your kid is a master manipulator, you need to first look at yourself because no one can actually be a manipulator until they have someone to manipulate. So if your kid is manipulating you, it actually says everything about you and very little about this child. It means that they've learned this coping skill, this conflict management skill to learn how to say these crazy things to you, to push your buttons, to make you emotional, to make you afraid. And then you end up doing something positive for them, which then is like giving a dog a bone. It gives them a treat and a reinforcement. Hey, this really works. I gotta keep doing this. So here's a few thoughts. And I really hope that if you are watching this, you might want to get out a pen and write these things down because these 5 things have absolutely changed my life. I actually did not learn them from myself. I've learned them from experts, from books, from my own coaches and counselors and therapists. And I'm really, really pumped to tell you how do we thrive with these head games. Now, here's the context of how I want you to think about this. Imagine that we're a soldier and we're about to go into a huge battle and we could die. There's a strong chance that our captain, our leaders are going to be like, hey guys, hey girls, hey everybody, here's what I want you to focus on out here. Just keep your mind focused on this. Imagine if we're EMT and we're about to go to a huge natural disaster and there's going to be lots of dead people. There's a chance that whether we're a first responder or an EMT, that somebody in charge is going to give us a pep talk. They're going to say, hey guys, this is what I want you to focus on. Hey everybody, we're about to do something which is going to be so hard on us, and I want you to focus on this. Or you're about to give a big presentation in front of a group of people, and it's like really nervous because public speaking is people's number one fear. You might then give yourself like a little speech. Hey, focus on this. This is kind of what I'm going to be doing to you right now. It's like we're not in that moment right now. You're not in this moment of emotions and fear. You're not in the middle of a head game. You're watching a YouTube video right now, or you're watching a live Zoom with me. And so we're like, I'm going to give you this talk. Okay, when it's going to happen, it might happen tonight. It might happen in a couple hours. It might happen in 30 minutes. Next time you see your kids, it might actually happen next time you're with your spouse or co-parent or with that crazy boss you have. So this is what I want you to focus on. So another way of saying what I'm doing here is how do we take personal responsibility over our own minds, over our own emotions? Here's 5 ways of doing it. Here's 5 ways of really changing our self-talk, because the way we talk to ourselves dictates our life. The most powerful voice in our life is our own voice. It's not our children's voices. It's not our spouse's voice. How we talk to ourselves really matters. So here's the 5 things that I want you to think about. Now, before I tell you them, I just realized I need to get you ready. and I need to help you set this setting. I want you to imagine. Some of you don't need any help. You actually know. It's like my kid talks to me like this every day. I don't need any type of pep talks for you, but here's the type of things that I hear from my work of working with you and your sons and daughters for 24 years. Here's an example of these mind games we have to deal with. Your kid says to you, oh, you make me feel so. You make me feel. It's tough, right? It's tough. It gets in your head. It's actually not scientifically true because nobody can actually make anybody feel anything. I've done a lot of teaching on that, but that's just tough. How about this one? You're ruining my life. That's tough. For some of you, you got siblings, and like these kids don't like feeling treated unfairly. So they come to you and they say, that's not fair. That's not fair. Why are you doing this for my one sibling? Why don't you talk to them? And it jacks you up. It gets in your head. For some of you, you hate hearing this. Oh, you're the worst parent ever. I hate you. I hate this. That's really a tough thing to hear, isn't it? I mean, talk about a mind game. That is so tough. For some of you, you have a co-parenting situation where you're either with a co-parent or maybe you are like divorced in their second homes and they threaten you and they say, I'm gonna go tell the other parent. I'm gonna go talk to dad about this. You know? Other people say to you, why are you being so mean to me? And they give you those little puppy eyes. I don't know why I'm doing this. These are not puppy eyes. These are freakier eyes. Who wants to deal with these eyes? I'm not trying to do the puppy eyes. I'm not in the mood for doing no puppy eyes, but you know it. When my youngest kid gives me those puppy eyes, dude, I like melt. I'm like, okay, all right. Anything you want, man. Those puppy eyes get to me, big time. All right. Another thing they say is, you said this before. Well, that's not what you said before. Well, before you said this. No, you can't go back on your word. No, you said. Oh my gosh, that will jack someone up in their mind. Can I get an amen on that one? Or how about this one? Leave me alone. Use the group chat if you're here with me live and tell me, what is a sentence that when your kids say this to you, it really hurts you or really affects you? It could be something I just said, or it could be something new that I haven't mentioned. Now I'm going to be vulnerable with you. I'm going to share with you the two things that I've heard being a parent for 19 years, that when I've heard this from my kids, it was very hard for me. It really got in my head. It really hurt so much, like next level hurt. And I don't remember, thankfully, I don't remember who said it or when it was said. I don't have a date. I have 3 daughters. I just know that I've heard it sometimes. And thankfully, I don't hear it very often. Because if I heard it very often, that would be really hard for me. And I would really need to take these 5 things. But I have heard in my parenting this is why I don't talk to you. That was hard. That was really hard. I mean, it hurt me so much as a dad. And it just hurt me also because I'm like, oh gosh, I'm like the family coach, you know? Like, what, am I screwing this up? Like, if I screw this up, like, what does that mean for my life, my business, right? Like, imagine like, it's almost like thinking, you know, if you were like a contractor and you're great at fixing other people's homes, but then stuff breaks in your own home, like that'll really mess with your head, right? Or if you're like, you teach safety, which is like a profession to teach safety, and then you're raising kids who are very unsafe. It's like, what is happening to me? Like, what does this mean? Does this mean I'm a bad parent? Does this mean I'm a phony? Am I faking this? Like, it just, as you know, if you're watching this, hopefully you feel that tension. And then the second thing I've heard is similar to, this is why I don't talk to you, is I can't talk to you. It's like, I can't talk to you. It's like, and these are just normal reactions of regular kids just feeling frustrated, feeling unheard, feeling powerless, and it just came out. Thankfully, it didn't feel like this is a fact. This is just what they were saying in the heat of the moment, and they were emotional. And yeah, I'm just being honest with you. It led me to be emotional. One mom is saying here in the group chat, is her daughter saying, I need you to stop. So yeah, tell me, why does that affect you so much? Because parenting is so personal. I read that and I'm like, well, why would that be hard? But then as you heard me list off this list, you probably thought to yourself, well, why would that be hard? Like, that's not a big deal. Yeah, my kids said that to me. This is how personal parenting is. So here's the 5 things that I would really encourage you to write down and to simmer on. Think about these 5 things, because these are things that have really brought me so much freedom, brought me so much happiness, It brought me joy. It brought me relief in the painful mind games of parenting. Okay, the first thing, and I'm going to do these in kind of like a chronological order because I think there's things that I use in my own mind to bring me relief, is the first thing is you say to yourself, hey, this is good information. This is good information. So imagine someone you love is really coming at you and they're criticizing you, they're upset at you, they're raging at you. And instead of saying what you normally might say to yourself, you just say to yourself, hey, this is good information. And what that means is you're now aware of where they are at. And it's really helpful to know that one of your family members or your own child is really hurting or they're feeling X, Y, or Z. It's really good information. Now this is actually dead serious. This is like a very well-known thing that is well-known, taught in psychology and in therapists and things like this. And it should be a way of like, kind of like it's a form of mindfulness, like just thinking like, okay, what is happening to me, before we give our power away to this person to let them affect me. Instead, we just train our mind to say, hey, this is good information. Now I know kind of more of what I'm dealing with. Point number 2 of 5 great things to say to yourself to thrive with head games is this isn't about me. This isn't about me. Okay, so we as parents and as spouses in romance too, we often make it about us. It is so common. Do you relate to that? It's like they're upset. It means that we did something wrong, or we're a bad parent, or like we're at fault, or we have to teach them, or we have to change them, we have to correct them. We need to get this to stop. And we make it about us. And we make like, okay, now what did I do wrong? How can I get out of this? What should I have done better? And this is oftentimes not very helpful. Now, of course, it can be helpful to be thinking those things. Those are great things. But the second thing, if this is not about me, is just helping see this is about this person that I love or I care for, or it could be even somebody at work you don't love. It's just like, this is good information. This I know. This is how they are processing this situation. They're upset over something that happened in Thanksgiving dinner. This is good information. This isn't about me. Okay, they're upset at me. They're raging at me. They're calling me names. Okay, this is really hard, but I know this isn't about me because things happen in life and everybody has bad days and bad moments. And this means that, this person's going through this. This doesn't mean I did anything wrong. It just, I'm in a situation here because this person is feeling something very deeply, and this is about them. Now, when I have a turn, I can make it about me if I want to, or I can share with them what is going on with me. But first thing, it's like, this is like the big pep talk. Think, this is about me. Now, you think about this before we go to number 3. I want you to think, what would be the opposites of this, right? I feel like I'm giving you really good counsel right now, but what would be the opposite of this is good information, right? And there's probably a million different options for that. What would be the opposite of this isn't about me? Well, the opposite is this is about me. Oh my gosh, I'm being attacked. I need to defend myself. I need to criticize them back. I need to stand up for myself. Right? See? And if any sense that makes with I, it's like this would be the opposite of this isn't about me. This is about them. Point number 3 is very complex. Easier said than done is point number 3. Oh my gosh, me even saying this to you is going to push some of your buttons. Point number 3 is I'm not responsible for their feelings. Now that is a fact. In healthy relationships, you have 2 people understanding that you are responsible for your own feelings. Now, all the moms out there should be all pulling their hair out right now. What do you mean? What do you mean I'm not responsible for my kids' feelings? I am their mother. I need to care for them. I need to be there for them. No, somebody might have told you that information, and there is a way for you to love your kid, to care for them, to teach them, to protect them, to do all that good motherly and fatherly stuff. But there's a big difference between you thinking that you're responsible for your child's feelings versus saying what I'm teaching you to be healthy is I'm not responsible for their feelings. They are responsible for their own feelings. Well, what do you mean? My son is 9 and he has ADHD. I need to help them. I need to teach them. I need to guide them. I need to be there for them. He can't handle those huge emotions. Okay, let's simmer down for a second and say, look, your job is to be the adult in the relationship, and your job is to be responsible for your own feelings. Your job is to not take care of your kids' feelings, which is actually impossible. You cannot manipulate anybody's feelings to make them feel good. Your job as a teacher to teach them, to be responsible for their own feelings, and for you to take personal responsibility over how you manage your own feelings. So this is why this is a well-known thing taught in relationship psychology, which is, look, I'm just not responsible for their feelings. Like, I can't make them feel anything. I can't make them feel any better. I can't make them feel any worse. Yes, my actions, my words, my reactions, they do impact their emotions, but that's not my responsibility. I've done a lot of teaching on this before. I can give you a lot of examples, but if someone comes into a Starbucks and they're all upset and they're raging at Starbucks because they didn't like Starbucks and they want everyone to hear them out, and if we don't listen to them, if we don't treat them the way they want to be treated, we don't respond and get up out of that Starbucks and start rallying against Starbucks against them, then they might say, you're making things worse. You're a part of this problem. It's because of you I feel this way. And that is another way of them saying, you are all responsible for my feelings. And I say to you with my legs crossed, sitting in that Starbucks, drinking my extra hot latte, I'm sorry, ma'am. I am not responsible for your feelings. You can feel any way you want about Starbucks or about anything you like, and you do you, and I will do me, because that's not a fact. Number four is something I really teach a lot about. To have proper self-care, you have to have healthy boundaries. So number 4 is, do I need to set a boundary? Do I need to set a boundary right now? Right. So how do we thrive with the mind games of parenting? Well, here's a great tip: is talk to yourself and ask yourself, do I need to set a boundary? Do I need to just take a break from this type of conversation, from this type of abuse, from this type of manipulation, from this type of whining, from this type of negativity? Do I actually need to take a break and take either a physical boundary to take care of my mental health? Do I need to take a time out? Do I need to do something more extreme to get their attention? It's like, I can't keep signing up for this. Good healthy boundaries, like I love to teach, are like little orange cones. They're not building walls with people. They're like setting up cones. Hey, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm willing to do. This is what I'm not willing to do. And if you think about that, as I think about these top 5 things that I'm sharing, I feel like you have to have something in there about boundaries. Because if you just stay present with your child or with these person, they just keep coming at you. Just keep coming. The head games, the mind games, the manipulation. I mean, look, I'm getting myself dizzy right now on camera. I mean, look at this. This is crazy. Like, if I keep doing this, I'm going to pass out. Like, I need to stop. I need to, protect myself from this. Otherwise, I'm going to start freaking out. And then you have 2 people freaking out. You have a child and you have an adult. So yeah, you cannot control your children from trying to manipulate you. You cannot control the way they talk to you. You cannot control how they whine or they complain or control their reactions. But here's some good news. We can control ourselves. And one of the ways we do that is through healthy boundaries. And now the 5th one is really, you cannot have a list. You cannot have a good list without number 5. I mean, number 5 is so important. All right. How do I show up with authentic love in this moment, right? We want to be people of love. We want to let all that we do be done in love. We want to give love. And when authentic love is giving love without the expectation of anything in return. Now, this is really deep and profound, because if you make it about you, you cannot be loving to this person. Isn't that interesting? If you let them and their heat and their emotions get under you and you make it about you, you probably will not be able to show up with love. Isn't that interesting? So we need to, the reason why we take care of ourselves, the reason why we say this isn't about me, the reason why we say this is good information is to make us more loving. To make us more loving, because love will always last. Love will never let us down. Love changes the world, and love is actually the solution to our problems. Love is the solution to our problems. So many of our problems are rooted in the opposite of love, which is selfishness, right? And love is selfless. So what I'm teaching you right now is to be more loving and to be more selfless. But how do we do that? It's so hard. It's so hard to show up with love. These kids get to me. Oh my gosh, my spouse drives me nuts. How do I do it? Well, I just gave you some tips. 1, when you see them acting this way, realize this is good information. Number 2, talk to yourself and say, this isn't about me. This is not about me. This is about them. Number 3, remind yourself and talk to yourself, say, I am not responsible for their emotions, right? They're on their own journey. Say whatever type of hippie stuff you want. They're on their own journey. They're on their own path. Their behavior is not my behavior. Their choices, their moods are not my moods. I am different than them. Number 4 is ask yourself, okay, is this a healthy, dynamic, healthy conversation, or do I need to set a boundary? And number 5 is the most important. It's why we do all of this. It's to show up with love, to show up with presence and loving attention. And not just love because we want love in return, but true love, which is, how do I show up with authentic love? How do I love this child even though they're not loving me? How do I love this family even though I feel unloved? How do I love them with my mind and my words and my actions even though I feel hurt and I feel alone and I feel like these head games are just really affecting me? Thanks for coming. Letting me share that with you. Thanks for letting me be in your life. I'd love to hear from you. Does anybody share with me, what did this bring up for you? Is there anything you liked or you didn't like? I'd love to hear from you. Talk to me.